Hello, good morning. How are you doing today? Trust you're doing well. And thank you for coming and joining us today on the AM show. We start our big stories from the Central Business District in Adum, Kumasi. Some traders there have locked up their shops in protest of rising taxation on their goods. They lament the pressure to honor payment of income tax, high cost of store rentals and charges from the Metropolitan Assembly is eroding their profit. The cumulative taxes, they say, is crippling their businesses. We speak to stakeholders on the show, but first here's a report by Love FM's Mona Lisa Frimpong.
The usual hustle and bustle at the Central Business District of Adum has been absent. Major shops have been locked up. Red pieces of cloth hung at the entrance of these closed shops. Some shop owners idle around, some sitting in front of their locked shops. They say they have been directed by leaders of the Adum Traders Association to lock up their shops.
The problem is regarding our tax system. As it stands, we are unable to pay. All along, we take that money from our profits to pay the government, which as it stands now, it has swallowed us. We cannot pay.
The traders, including some wholesalers and retailers, lament their profit margins are adversely affected by high taxation. To make profit, retailers are mandated to add up various amounts on goods to sell to consumers. This, they say, has resulted in the cost rise of products.
And next, wholesale price, over corner, near the 10 series at home, over corner, or China, near the 20 series at home. In
a week, there can be 50 series increment in the wholesale price of a particular commodity.
Stores for egg or musica.
But recently, near Master, what are the cross service? Even though hundreds is crowding a day. Imagine, say, this week here, Calipa 7 years funnel 39. Within Saturday, Friday, almost 50 cities. How come?
The price of every product has even soared.
Because already we've been at the surprise me. Nipa na dey body be out so. And so na me so me dia me dey to so. And so na pa o customer.
Other traders are unhappy with the activities of some officials of the Ghana Revenue Authority posted to their shops.
Starting with GI for problem, ne VAT here almost say, omo dey obi bet na your shop. Na ade ba ku bi abetun bia almost 6%. Secondly, came for so our problem with them because came for ba no ma be diska.
Ghana Revenue Authority agents have been posted to our shops to deduct 6% from every product purchased.
Dollar rate is so cost so pa. Who got idea 2 days? Idea better no. Oba this all the 30 cities so. And Ghana has to nyoma they are yakura and Chinese if one tikuro man omo ye adwuma akese. Omo ti ha na omo ya na omo sesa dollars na omo the dollar dey ko omo kuro.
Some shoppers who were traveled from outside Kumasi to make purchases were left disappointed and frustrated by the turn of events.
Me pa so me fi bra half. I pass I so no one na me buy my ba. Ya tutu store ni nyina mu. Se se me ne me ma ye hu nya ye bedi me be fa niema.
Now that the shops are closed, how will I survive today? I am a single mother.
Yes, I'm going to be a store now. Yeah, ni. Nti yesrama ye nyame di pa mo chaw. Mo de na mbi store no. Na yeso ye fa ne ma ye nkɔ hwɛ ye ma. Enye sɛ ye ma ebi wɔ hɔ a mi ni kuru. Me nkɔ na me kɔ ansa na me ba. Ma nkɔ ma nkɔla ni bi. Me ni obi a awa asase so.
Loading boys sit idly at the Central Business District. On a regular day, they would be busy carting goods in and out of shops. But that is not the case in the past 2 days. The industrial action of the Adum traders is adversely impacting their daily wages.
Right now, we are sitting here idle.
Me 50 kilos, aswa 50 kilos so aswa. Na wa mama 30 pesos in say kwa nso ye to ne sen nso aye no bisa so wura ye a say wo nso ba kwa ye sen me yire ba ko me wo ma 5 na ma sa free ha na ma staff car me fuka ba na ma fuka
I spent a lot on transport fare to come, but the shops are closed.
What you say? Me twitwa sika, nti se de me twitwa sika na me hu se ebia me ba. Me kakra hye me botom no. Na ma ba na aye style mama. Aye store mama de. Minim de mbe yam ho. Ana me nko bokro na ana. Me nko bokro no.
Headquarters in the Central Business District also share the same plight.
So we want them to help us to reduce the things, because so that they can buy and we carry. Yesterday it's not easy for us, because yesterday even job money kura. Yesterday I wasn't get. Yesterday kura 7 cities I was get and I was go back to home. If you are going to buy water, you are going to pay. If you are going to buy food they are not doing 2 city unless you add 3 city or 5 city.
Truck drivers are among other frustrated groups with their inability to convey goods from the Central Business District to neighboring towns. Their vehicles are parked on the streets. Some are disappointed at the fuel consumed for their day's trip.
I came all the way from Kintampo. I spent 1,000 cedis on fuel.
The store for you stores. And I'm a car easy way. Can make me the car free Kintampo. If you are quite give them 12,000, 10 million, you did free a cock in Tampo.
Because Nemo Moede. My free diesel na me buy, I say me buy, Benya Namako, Namako Chameka. They say me buy a sea store for MBA story. Look of us cover in front of Akotia, Nipana, my dear one.
I bought diesel on credit to fuel my vehicle here.
If you know, you know, be about the Daha will be a yahi. Better send them a crowd about who crown Tommy came. And your Saban say, be a order chrono, I know a ding.
I have slept here for 2 days, waiting for goods.
Toby, yes, you never been far. They say a guy near mouth, you say, the Pesca, Akufi, I'm more muddy. Oh, by our Babatrana Bossy.
There are ongoing meetings between the Ghana Revenue Authority and leaders of the various trade unions to resolve the issue of taxation. It, however, remains unclear if the action will be called off on Wednesday. For Joy News, Mona Lisa Frempon reporting.
A story by my colleague from Kumasi, which touches every angle of this problem. Clearly, you can see it's not a simple problem, and all those affected are lamenting. This morning, I've been joined by Charles Apiakubi. He's Executive Secretary of the Ashanti Business Community for a conversation on this. He joins us via Zoom. Good morning, Mr. Apiakubi. Thank you for joining the program. Can you kindly unmute? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, is he okay now?
All right, perfect, we can hear you. Thank you so much for joining the program this morning. First off, let me find out from you if the shops around Adum in Kumasi are still closed this morning.
Yes, confirmed, still closed.
How long are you willing to take this protest?
As long as issues have not been resolved, we will remain closed indefinitely.
Okay, so from the story we heard, there are a number of concerns raised by businessmen like yourself. The first has to do with the rising cost of doing business, which includes the cost of fuel, which includes the CD to dollar ratio. And then there's the other angle, which has to do with government taking what is due it, which has to do with taxes. The concern over the years is that businessmen have tried in many ways to evade taxes. And so the GRA has come up with innovative ways using technology. Quite recently in Accra, we saw that they closed down the China Mall around Spintex for failing to implement the electronic VAT system. But we know what's happening in Adum is that they have sent personnel who go into the shops and take record of every item that is sold so that government can get its due. What exactly is the problem with that?
Thank you for the opportunity. Let me put the issue in the right perspective. We have no challenge with us paying taxes to government. As business people, we believe this country can only survive through taxation and revenue mobilization from government, which we are very dedicated to doing that. We are not invading taxes. Let no one say that. And we have not said we don't want to pay taxes. What we have raised over the period is the structure of the VAT system. Okay, our market is so unique. The FMCG market is so unique that you don't import or impose taxes that do not sit with the dynamics within the market. Those are the issues we have raised. FMCG market is an unstructured market. Anyone can come in anytime to do business and go without any restrictions. We have high non-tax or VAT compliance. A lot of businesses are not registered for VAT, right? So when you introduce VAT into our system, you have few businesses that have registered for VAT. If they have to add this, either the standard rate, which is 6% levy on it, or the flat rate is 4%, their prices go so high that customers do not want to buy from them. They rather want to buy from those who have not registered for VAT and their prices are cheaper. When this continues, it deprives the right people who want to do the right thing to support the government from doing business. When we say government, this is not sustainable. Can we look at a policy that will cut across every facet of our market so that every person within the market space become compliant, so that you as government can mobilize more revenue as you wanted? This have never yielded any result. So the few of us that have been registered for VAT have been the target of government. And the point is, we also need to stay active in business. So we are compelled not to charge the VAT too, so that we can sell at the price that non-VAT registered agents are also selling it.
But Mr. Piakubi, you cannot do wrong simply because it benefits you, right? Hello, Mr. Piakubi. It appears that we lost him there. The feed is frozen at the moment. Hopefully, we'll be able to rectify that problem. But we've also been joined by Dr. Joseph Obing. Okay, I think we have Mr. Piakubi back. Mr. Piakubi, sorry, the feed froze and we lost you for a few seconds. I was saying that you cannot justify wrongdoing simply because it benefits you.
No, we are not. We don't take pride in doing what is wrong, but we need to survive as business people. If you come to work from Monday to Friday and no one patronizes any of your products for a whole month, how will you meet your bank obligations? You can't. How will you pay your staff? You can't. And let me give you an idea. Some of us have employees over 50, 60 that we pay them every month. So if a month we are not able to record any sales, how do we survive? Our business obviously will collapse. People will lose their jobs. We cannot pay our bank debt. The banks will go bankruptcy. The whole economy will suffer. So we need to devise strategy to survive.
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you shortly for the strategies that you're talking about, because earlier you mentioned that government must relook at the policy. Again, I'll come back to you if you have any ideas so you can share. But we've been joined by Dr. Joseph Obing, who is with GUTA. He is actually the president of GUTA. He joins us via phone. Good morning to you, Doc. And it's been quite a hard year on businesses. We've been speaking to you since the beginning of the year and since the dollar to CD ratio started dropping to the detriment of the CD. And there have been concerns raised over time. Here we are now. Businesses are struggling. We're hearing from Mr. Piakubi, who is saying that, look, we are compelled to do the wrong thing just so we can keep our heads above the water. We are seeing the GRA on the move, closing down some shops. How does this make you feel? And what is the perspective of GUTA on this matter?
Yeah, I think I've discussed with this matter longer time. Let me take advantage to greet Charles, my brother. He's done yeoman's work, and very soon we are going to see even a bigger. It's okay.
No, Mr. Obeng, no. I'm interested in that. We're going to see.
Are you saying? Are you saying that this is? Okay. Let's go. Please. You see, the disparity in the market is very bad. We've talked about this issue all the time. We've talked about this with the VAT administrators so many times. And when we tell them, they say that they are only implementers. And then even though they recognize the lapses in the tax administration, you have a system that does not ensure fairness. You have a system that does not ensure equity. You have a system that runs trade concurrently in the same vicinity, in the same market. That we have the standard rate of that one pay 19.25, and then we have flat rate of 4%, and then we have those who do not pay the VAT at all, and they are all legitimate. What system is this? A system is not to be discriminatory. A tax system should be uniform. A tax system should not be designed to cripple other companies, to destroy companies. And we've written this and said that what you have done with the VAT, it makes compliance very difficult. It means that those who have registered and doing the right thing are being victimized.
Right.
Those who are registered and paying are being victimized, and that's what our Kumasi people are telling the GRA and telling government, because it should not be said that at this time that our businesses are collapsing, at this time that the exchange rate is depleting all our capital, at this time that the interest rate is so high that we are thinking about how to salvage our businesses, then you send an official to come to sit at our shop. Nobody is going to allow that. We are not going to sit down to be bullied by anybody. We are
But Mr. Bing, if there's nothing to hide, what is the problem about GRA officials ensuring that businesses comply and abide by the law?
Yeah, you're not hiding about anything, but we are saying that there should be parity, there should be fairness, there should be equity.
All right.
That if I'm selling goods and I'm charging 19.25%, it's obvious that you that I'm talking to will not opt for my VAT system. You go and vote for maybe the one who charges the 4%, isn't it? It's rational because there's no compulsion on the part of the consuming public to insist on VAT receipt, is it? There's no compulsion. Is there compulsion in this country that everybody should take VAT receipt? So the person has discretion to buy from where he should buy. So you charge the standard rate of 19.25%, and then the person go to the person who do not charge, because that person is also legitimate under the laws of VAT, because they say that the person's threshold is not over 200,000. Well, what system is that? There should be uniformity. Tax system should not be designed to destroy businesses. And this is how this tax has been designed. Three systems under one tax regime. It's not possible.
Doc.
So what we are saying, it shouldn't be difficult for anybody to understand.
Doc, you say you've been engaging the GRA and VAT officials on this. They say they are just implementers. They are not those who drafted or formulated the law. Shouldn't you then be looking at Parliament? Shouldn't you be looking beyond the GRA and VAT officials? Clearly, they are right. They are just
if you have written several letters to them and copied to the Ministry of Finance, you've copied to wherever it should go, and it's not working. The best way to do as traders, to show that we are also equal stakeholders in nation building, is to also vent our faith, to wake up and say that you are killing us. This measure that you are bringing to us is killing us, and that we cannot continue like that. And this is the best way we traders can do it, for policymakers to understand. And we've done it, and we continue to do it. And even better ones are going to come. We cannot sit down for these things to continue. We have to find a way to solve our problems for us. Businesses are collapsing. And so whatever the Kumasi people are doing is very legitimate. And they are not going to allow, even when they open their shops, they are not going to sit down for any policy, official to come into their offices. And we are going to direct them not to allow anybody. Enough is enough.
Doc, are we likely to see a replication of what is happening in Kumasi in other parts of the country?
You said what?
Are we likely to see a replication of what is happening in Kumasi in other parts of the country?
A bigger one. Our capitals are being depleted. Now I have to pay interest rate about 38%. I made a scenario some other time in your own network that if my capital beginning of the year was 640,000 Ghana cedis, I can get $100,000. Now I can only get $60,000 for the same amount that I could have raised 100,000 just beginning of this year. And now the interest, because these monies are also borrowed one. So the interest I have to pay on this same capital of 640,000 per annum, I'm going to pay 224,000 Ghana cedis. Take it from the initial amount, 640, my capital is gone. What am I doing as a trader? The purchasing power of the final consumer is also limited. It has gone down because of inflation. Inflation has eaten up the purchasing power of the consumer. And that he cannot buy the quantity that he used to buy. And so my turnover is drastically affected to the extent that I cannot service my loan and my external credit. What am I doing as a businessman? I'm going off. I'm dying. And so if there's somebody that we have to tell, I'm sorry to, maybe our sorry is not being told to IMF to see that we are dying so that they will fast track their effort to help Ghana. Then we have to do it.
Right.
Sometimes demonstrations and all that are not negative at all. Sometimes we do that and people come to us to salvage us. When you cry, when you know that you are suffering, you have to let the whole world know, so that if there's a solution from somewhere, it will come to you. That's why we do some of these things, and that we do not do it out of malice. We do it out of necessity.
Doc, take a breather for me. I'll come back to you shortly. Let's now get into the issue of taxation proper. And we've been joined by Eric Amponsah-Boateng, who is a tax consultant. Thank you so much. I am pretty sure there are many people who are watching or listening and are wondering whose side they should be on. There is the issue of businesses paying the taxes and government needing the revenue for development. And there's the issue of the business people who are saying that you're not doing this properly. The system is not right. Those of us who have registered and are doing the legal things are suffering as a result of our choices to do what is right. They say the tax system is not uniform. From where you sit as a tax consultant, what will your interpretation of all of this be?
The listeners or viewers, I think that in as much as the traders have a point, I have always said that when you want to implement a tax policy, the best thing to do is to engage the stakeholders. And when I say the stakeholders, who come into mind? The women, the traders, the tax consultants, the businessmen. Okay? And so if you engage them before you bring up that tax policy, then of course the probability that they are going to comply will be very, 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 very high. Okay, now, if you look at our laws, the GRA, they are not just going around probably doing what they are doing. Whatever they are doing is backed by the law. Okay, so we can't really fault them for doing what is in the law. But I think that, yes, if you are running a business and the inflation is so high in the country, the cedi is depreciating, what happens is that even for the tax, it is not paid by the traders. Okay, what happens is that the final consumer or the consumer is the one who pays the tax. But let's not forget about the fact that when you put the amount or the tax on the price of the commodity, what happens is that the price of the commodity becomes very high. And so the first thing that will occur is that your sales will drop. Okay, and when your sales drop, it means that at the end of the day, the profit that you expect is also going to drop. To even the extent that because the cedi has depreciated, and also we are looking at inflation of about 35, 36%. What now happens is that your initial capital that you are even using to run your business is going to be eroded. And so I understand the concerns of the traders. But yesterday I wasn't following it because I was very busy throughout the day. I think it was in the evening that I heard what was actually going on. But you see, I think that the best way around this issue, yes, I'm happy that they have an association. They have leaders. Don't they just go and meet the Commissioner General and then make a case out? Because I believe that if you are implementing a tax policy and the expected revenue is not coming in, then what's even the use of the policy? I remember very well, a few months ago, I spoke on an issue concerning the e-levy. And I told them that, yes, the e-levy, the idea is brilliant. But how the implementation was done was what brought about all those issues. And now people are even of the view that the e-levy must be scrapped. And so that is what I'll see.
Yeah, sorry to interject. I mean, the e-levy is another matter. There are many concerns, people even now being charged when they haven't gone beyond the 100 cedi threshold. But I must mention that we heard from the Guta president who says that they have written letters, they have tried to sit and have discussions with the GRA, with the Ministry of Finance and other stakeholders in this matter, and they are not seeing any results all the way forward, and that's why they've decided this route. So, Mr. Bosabwati, clearly, I mean, we all know that the GRA officials are working within the law, but the law doesn't say that they should go into people's offices and people's shops and take stock of every item that is purchased and how much is due them. What would you say about their approach? Because it appears that whilst the traders are trying to get a way to address their concerns, the GRA is also appearing to be insensitive towards their concerns. What would you say about the approach?
Okay. Thank you very much. Perhaps all of us need some education. If you look at the law, the Commissioner General has the right to enter your premises.
Okay.
Okay, so the GRA is acting based on that clause that is in the law. Aside that, you see, if you want to, for example, lock up a place, maybe in terms of business, where the business is being operated from, you don't just get up, okay, and go probably with armed policemen or women and go and lock up the promise. the premises. There is a procedure. There is a procedure to be followed. So probably I would want to find out from the GRE team, did they follow that or not? Because you see, before you can go out and lock the premises of a taxpayer, like I've said earlier on, there is a procedure. One of them even involves writing to the taxpayer, inviting him or her to the office. And in this case, they even have an association. So I would expect that probably they wrote to the leader or the executive of Guta. That is even the first step. If you write to them and they fail to respond, okay, the next thing that you can do is to issue what we call a distress letter. Okay, a distress letter. And we all know what that word means. Distress. It means that you have done everything humanly possible to get the taxpayer to come to the table. And if the taxpayer does not do that and you want to go by that line, okay, that one can come in. Even to the extent that if a taxpayer owes GRA, okay, you can even garnish the account of the taxpayer. It is in the law. You see, so I think that the two parties have to come to the table. The GRA has to invite Guta to their offices and then engage them. Because you see, at the end of the day, if these businesses close down.
So sorry, Mr. Ponsah-Boateng, sorry. I mean, I was just hoping that you could wrap up easily on this, wrap up quickly on this so that I come in.
Okay.
But so these shops in Kumasi that have been closed were by the traders themselves, not by the GRA. The traders closed the shops in protest of what they say is the action of the GRA, which they find unfavorable, and other economic challenges crippling their businesses. On the other hand, in Accra, we have seen GRA officials go to places like the China Mall on the Spintex Road to close down the place for non-compliance in the implementation of the electronic VAT system. So my question was specifically to the situation in Kumasi, where GRA officials were being sent to enter shops and take record of every item that was sold so that they can make the right deductions. The traders admit they're supposed to pay tax, but they also say that those of us who are complying with the law are suffering, and those who are not complying with the law are benefiting because they don't have to put the taxes on their products, and so they're selling their items cheaper, and the consumer will go to them. So for those of us who are complying, we are suffering and our businesses are dying. And my question was about the approach of sending individuals into the shops to do these activities.
Yes. You see, I mentioned earlier on that the Commissioner General has the right to do that. Okay. And when these shop owners lock their shops, I think it is in a way sending a signal, probably to the GRA and to the government. Okay. So yes, they are right. They can go in there and then look at the items and all that.
Okay.
But I am also happy that you have observed that if somebody is adding the VAT or whatever levy to the price of the product, what happens is that your product, their prices become very high, and therefore people will not buy. And so those who have not added any VAT or e-levy or whatever, they are going to get people to buy their goods, meaning that the one who is not even tax compliant is the one making the money.
Exactly.
And those that even want to do the right thing, they are the ones who are losing out. And I don't think that is fair. In taxation, we have equity. Okay, we have fairness. And so if these traders have seen that their other friends or brothers or sisters who are not tax compliant are rather benefiting and making more profit than them. Of course, they have the right to also be angry. But I think that when you are angry, you must ensure that at least you do the right thing.
All right.
Because look, if they close down their shops for about a week, at the end of the day, the profit that they would have even made so that they can even take care of themselves, they will not get that money. And
but they're basically
going to
saying they're not even making any profit. So what's there to lose? The little they make is being taken away. So for them, it's almost like you're not losing anything. But let me go back to Mr. Charles Appiah-Kubi, who is Executive Secretary of the Ashanti Business Community. So, Mr. Appiah-Kubi, you have mentioned that there are people who are not complying with the law, for which reason they are benefiting at your expense. What have you done about that? Do you know these individuals? Have you reported them? Have you done the right thing?
You see, it's not within our remit to ensure everybody gets compliant because I've fairly indicated our market is unstructured. So anyone comes in and anyone goes out. I mean, there's no rules to who comes to buy, who comes to sell. And having appreciated the challenges within the market, that's what we drew government attention that could there be any tax system that will ensure total compliance, equity, and support the growth of businesses. You see, we didn't close our shop in protest of GRA visiting our shops. That should be established. We have closed down our shops because our business are collapsing and it's influenced by our tax system, that's the VAT system, and other economic indicators that are showing downturn. Currently, because some of us have registered as VAT agents, and we are not able to charge, we are compelled to pay through our working capital. That is where our capital starts depleting. That is where the danger is. For us as citizens, our concern is we want to ensure government enjoy optimum revenue from our market. We want to ensure government achieves economic agenda, but it should also put into place things that will support the growth of business. When businesses are growing, the economy benefits. So we have professed some solutions.
Okay, let's hear them.
Because of the unique nature of the FMCG market, we have told government, is it possible that all the taxes you want to deduct, all the revenues you want to make, can you take it as source? In this country, there are two main sources that have been established that goods enter into our market, either through the port of entry, when you're clearing goods, or at the manufacturing side. So if you want to take 19.25% or even 20%, take it at the port of entry. At the manufacturing, take the 19.25, even 20%, take it. If you do that, when the goods come to the market, you as government have already realized your revenue. Allow the business people to play whatever game they want to play in the market. For our corporate income tax, we will pay. Our payee, we will pay. That will ensure total compliance. That is not forced on us. This, we think, could help government maximize on money, what you call it, revenue mobilization. Government is not listening to us, but we are targeting the little few.
Which forum have you made these proposals to government, or how have you made these proposals to government?
You see, we did not start this journey today. For the past 3-4 years, we've been running and drumming to government that your tax system, your VAT system is not supporting.
Mr. Appiah-Kubi, can you help me with specifics? So say...
We have been part of government budget discussions.
Okay.
Even recently, almost about 2 months ago, we were part of that pre-budget discussion was held in Kumasi. We told them, okay, it is time that government probably listen to the business community, because we said government have never run FMCG market. So you will not appreciate the dynamics in the market. It is appropriate to listen to the key players within the market. We want you to succeed as government. We want this country to grow. We all know where we are now. We want to see a solution coming, and it should come from the business community. And that's what we are professing. We did not do this for our own and for ourselves. We are doing for the larger community in Ghana. that the consumer is protected, the businessman is also protected. And at the end of the day, Ghana wins. That is our proposition. And I think it's very simple that any listening government should be happy to listen to us on that.
We're in the last quarter of the year. Christmas is fast approaching, and we know what Christmas is like for businesses and for consumers. From what you're seeing on the market and what's the dynamics and everything that is happening, are you able to predict what Christmas is going to look like for your colleagues and the consumers at large?
Sorry, I lost you.
I was asking if you're able to determine or predict what the market will look like for the Christmas season, seeing that we're in the last quarter of the year and all these things are happening.
The sad thing is our business have collapsed, and there's nothing we can do. Borrowing rate has gone high. Probably our last resort was to go to the bank for borrowing, but now you know the borrowing rates. So we have to lift our hands in despair. There's no hope now. The only thing we think government have control over is his tax system. If we put it right, we will have some safe tax system to push the little business we want to do.
But you know that the tax system is quite a long process. We'll have to go through Parliament and all that, and so this is not an immediate solution that you can get to this problem, is it? Hello, Mr. Apiakubi.
Sorry, I keep listening to you.
I was saying that the issue of looking at the taxes and all that will have to go through Parliament. That is not an immediate solution to your problem, is it?
You see, of course. But if there's an assurance that there's a hope for tomorrow, you can survive. You definitely will find some survivor. But as we speak now, there's no hope. Hope will only come from the policymaker, giving us the assurance that your grievances, your issues, your challenges can be addressed. Can we sit down and draw a roadmap to see how best we support you? That's not being received. So there's no hope.
So will your shops be opened when that assurance comes, since you have admitted that you will not get the immediate solution to your problem? Will an assurance cause you to go back to your shops and open them?
A committed assurance from government that our recommendation will be hit to, will convince us to go back to business. If not, the little investment we have made, we will probably save it to take care of our families.
Right. I'll come back to you, but let me wrap up with Dr. Joseph, President of GUTA. Doc, we are approaching Christmas. You sounded very passionate in your earlier submission. From where you sit as a president of GUTA, what does Christmas look like for business owners?
Well, where is the money in the first place? The money is gone. Our capitals have been eroded. So we are not to expect the volumes that we used to bring. We are not expecting that prices are also going to go down so that our customers are going to enjoy the Christmas, because even the duties keep on going up. Bank of Ghana keep changing the forest rate for customs to charge us. It used to be 7.2. Now they raised it to 9.85. It has made duties gone up to about 35%. So all this shows that people are not going to enjoy the Christmas, because enjoying the Christmas goods means that we are able to bring more goods for you. We are able to bring the goods at affordable prices, and these are not going to happen this time around. And then we are very sorry that it should come, be like this, but it's not our fault. But the gentleman, the consultant, was talking about the commissioner having the right to come to our premises. Yes, we admit, but the latter right resides in the people of Ghana. The latter right resides in the trading community, who the law is being made for. So if you make a law, and that the law, there's no compliance with it, it means that you failed with that law, and that right that is enshrined in you is nullified. So once you are saying that, once the people, the citizens of Ghana are saying that that policy, there's no equity, there's no fairness, there's no parity in that, then we have to go back to the drawing board and revise it positively for the citizens of Ghana, because the larger right resides in us, and that's what we are expressing now. Let me tell you, like asking Charles Abia Kubi as to whether they have been complaining, those who are not complying to the, it's not that the GRA do not know these people. It is in their law that they are not to charge everybody, and that those who do not have the threshold up to 200,000 do not qualify to be in the tax administration. So it is legitimate for people not to charge the VAT. That is simple. So we have three systems of VAT: those who are paying the standard rate, those who are paying the flat rate of 4%, and those who are not paying. And then there's no compulsion on the part of the final buyer or the consuming public to insist on VAT invoice. There's no compulsion on that. And so I should not be a victim and have to fight for my right until the tax system is uniform, make uniformed for all us to comply, and for government to have its bit, and for us also to have our peace and security to do our business.
Doc, in his suggestion to government on how to solve this problem, Mr. Appiah could be suggested that these taxes, excluding the income tax and the payee and all that, can be taken at source, i.e. the port of entry and the manufacturing points. But I know that Guta has had reason to complain about import duties and how it's becoming extremely expensive for importers to pay duty and all. Do you agree with his suggestion, and how will it play out in that angle?
Yeah, the duty is already high. They charge all manner of things at the port. If you have something at the source, our problems is solved. Those cumulative effects is all gone. But he was not saying that the PAYE should be added to the port. No, he said that those things will be paid.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes, that is the same thing I'm saying. I'm not saying
the corporate taxes will be paid by us. But he's saying that the taxes that is relating to VAT, that's the national health and all that, be compounded and taken as source. And this argument has been done especially for the essential commodities, you understand? And those items, the provisions and all that, the cascading effect is too big. You know, when the imported goods come, or when you are buying from the Unilever is assumed maybe the manufacturer, and then he charges the VAT to you, to the distributor. Then the distributor also charges the VAT to the wholesaler. The wholesaler charges the VAT to the retailer who is at Okanshi and Makola. And then the people from Kaswa and other places come and buy from these retailers. So the cascading effect is about 6. And that one doesn't help essential commodities, especially their profits. So we've talked about this, that some simplified system should be adopted in this area. And then in the larger picture, that's why we came with even the flat rate, and the flat rate was being adopted. And 5 years we have been using the flat rate without any problems. Government was exceeding its revenue target. Till this year, when they say that we are being migrated to the standard rate, and that it has created this mirage of problems for us. You understand? So it's not that we are not being supportive to the Ghana Revenue Authority. We do educative programs with them and all that. Sometimes they tell us that some of these things are beyond them, and that it has the policymakers have to do something about it. Right. And that when we have done and tried all efforts, that they bring uniformity into the tax system, they bring affordability into the tax system, because any tax that is not affordable, compliance level is virtually nil. And so we have to make sure that we do not impose taxes on us, like the consultant is saying, that taxes before they designed, It should be designed with the people who are going to charge the tax for you.
Let me take.
And then the consultant was also saying that when we charge the tax, is the final consumer who bears the brunt. Yes, we admit. And then the final consumer also has the discretion that once you are paying the higher VAT, I will not come and buy from you. Once you are paying the flat rate of 4%, I will not come and buy from you. I'll go and buy from the person who do not charge the VAT. And so what is made up of the people who are complying with the law? We are dead, and we are finished. And that's what it means. And so it is very important that we sit down around this, because we've written letters upon letters upon letters. And we follow up, and it's not that we do not follow up. We've copied it to all those who matters in the tax administration in this country. And then it has come to this far, where we have closed our shops. So it is not that we are taking a delight in closing our shops, because we are losing, at least, like you questioned. But sometimes you have to lose something to gain something, isn't it? And that's what exactly we are doing.
Who you've referred to so much in your latest submission, for his quick thoughts on your suggestion to government on taking the VAT and the NHIL at source. Mr. Mponsa Boateng, Dr. Obi.
I didn't get the question.
Oh no, so we've heard from Mr. Apiakubi, and Dr. Obi agrees with him that in order to deal with some of these things and reduce the cascading effect, the VAT and the NHIL should be charged at source, i.e. the ports of entry and the manufacturing site, so that the manufacturer doesn't charge VAT on the same product and the distributor charges VAT on the same product to the retailer, and the retailer, you get it. And so it goes on and on and on and on and on. Do you agree that that will help in solving this particular situation?
Oh, okay. I think that we have both be talking about fairness and equity. And rightly so, when the Guta president said that if the VAT, somebody is on the flat rate and somebody is on the standard rate, and there's even somebody who, because of the turnover, that person is not even supposed to register with VAT, then the consumer will be buying from the one that hasn't registered with VAT. Okay, and then if somebody even wants to buy from a VAT registered person, of course the person is going in for somebody who on the flat rate. So these are the issues that I think that the GRA officials or the Commissioner General has to look at, because in my opinion, when that happens, then there is an imbalance. Some of them tend to gain, others will also lose. So why don't we make sure that we have a uniform, simplified tax administration system? Because when that one is in place, then of course people are going to be tax compliant.
Right.
And some of these issues that they are having now would not come up.
Mr. Mponsa Boateng, sorry to interject, but my basic understanding of what Dr. Obing and Mr. Apiakubi have been saying is that with what plays out in the market now, government is earning more, because if, as a manufacturer, the distributor pays VAT to me, then the retailer pays VAT and he pays VAT on the product when the distributor gives it to him. And then it goes on and on and on, which means government will earn more than when it is charged at source. Do you ever think that any government will agree to this policy?
Unfortunately, that is the law. So, for example, when you talk about withholding taxes, so long as the activity continues, at each point, the tax will be paid. And so at the end of the day, that is why the government makes a lot of money. But if we look at the effect on the businessman or the stakeholders, and it is not helping them in what they do, then we have to make sure that we amend the tax law to ensure that equity and fairness that we are all aiming for. And so I support him. I support him, but like you've mentioned, it has to go through Parliament and all that. And so if government can assure them that, yes, we are going to take the steps to ensure that this is done, I'm sure that everybody will be happy. And then at the end of the day, Ghana as a nation is going to benefit. So yes, I agree with him. I agree with him 100%.
Thank you for your time here this morning. Eric Amponsah
You're welcome.
is a tax consultant. Let me wrap up with my two other guests. And let me start with you, Mr. Apia Kubi. Are you able to tell us, you mentioned that there are businesses that have collapsed and there are those that are on the brink of collapse. Are you able to tell us, off the top of your head, how many businesses under the Ashanti business community have folded up or are in the process of doing so? Can you kindly unmute? Sorry, your device is muted.
Okay, thank you. To be candid, majority of our businesses are collapsing. You see, when you look at the value chain, the wholesaler, which have become a prime target when it comes to this VAT system.
Hello, Mr. Apiakubi.
When his business is down, there's a meeting tomorrow and there's no goods for you to pick for me. And probably I'll be giving you supply credit. You can't take it from any other way. So your business starts going down.
Well, we seem to have a challenge with Mr. Apiakubi's line. Let me pose that same question to Dr. Obeng, if he's still with us, President of GUTA. Are you able to tell us?
Challenges we are in now.
Sorry, Mr. Apiakubi, we lost you. Your connection was bad. I'm asking for numbers. If you're able to, if you're not, that's fine. But are you able to give us any numbers of businesses that have collapsed or are in the process of doing so?
As we speak, about 60% of the key players in the industry are out. And there are more counting.
And when you say key players in the industry, what do you mean? Does that include...
the wholesale.
You're talking about the wholesale? Okay.
Yes. About 60% are already off from the market. So you have an idea, the little that are left are the retail market. And our survival rate is going down. That is what has compelled us to close our shop from Monday up to now.
Okay. We wish you all the best with your engagement with government on how to resolve this matter. Thank you for joining us this morning. Let me quickly wrap up with Dr. Joseph Obeng, who is with GUTA. Doc, we know the finance minister is in America now, trying to finalize talks with the IMF on getting that bailout government badly needs. There are people who have had, reason to suggest to the IMF, for example, Akwesi Odayo-Dike, who says that he will write to the IMF to make ending illegal mining a conditionality for giving government this bailout. Have you attempted to reach the IMF on your concerns as well as GUTA?
Yeah, what I would say is that whatever measures that IMF is going to take shouldn't come to worsen our plight. And that they should look at the current situation where we are even crying, and then because you do not bring solution, and for the solution to worsen our plight, it means that the effect of IMF is not being felt. And I don't believe IMF is only there to punish us. And then also, we are also telling IMF to also, like the gentleman have also professed, that whatever amount that is going to be brought into this country, if we do not look at the structural problems that we have in, the leakages in the system, then this money is coming and then is going to be swallowed by the pythons, the hyenas, and the vultures in the system. So our investment laws should be looked at, and they should also make it compulsory that we should tighten the loose end that let this money drain. So it's not about the money that is coming in, but it's about how fast it's going to be drained out. Because we have investment laws that just allow dumping, that allows people like China more bringing goods for the forest. So we have to be able to tighten those things. That if you should come and trade in this country, foreign giants like China and all that, then they should bring the corresponding fund for which they will bring deposit in the country and then use it to import the goods. Otherwise, whatever thing that we are doing is going to be just swallowed by these same people who command. Because in our market today, about 30% of the entirety of the trading that we do have gone to this China mall. Because the idea and the other Chinese traders here. Because the idea is that we go to China and buy the goods. So once the Chinese are here, then all Ghanaians should go and buy from them. That's why you go and see the queue. And yet they do not even pay their taxes. And this is what we've been talking about. This was the golden opportunity for Ghana government to even close down that shop forever. Seize their license. Because it's so negative to the economy of the country. And so we have to put, the IMF should also put those conditions to it, that we should amend our investment laws to tighten the leakages. Now, if you look at the service industry and all that, there's no retention policy. The service industry is taking a chunk. And then we do not have local retention because our local component in the banking system is just minimized to about 3 or 4 banks. All the rest is going to their mother countries and all that. The monies are being siphoned. And the money that is coming from the service industry is more than the importation that we do, if you do not know. The money alone that comes from communication, the money that comes from the banks, put together is more than the import that we do. And so normally we say that we do excessive importation. That's our woes, our problem. So we have to tighten our laws, and that the structural defect that we have should be sealed. And after we've sealed it, then whatever money that they will bring will be sustained, and then we'll be able to ensure stability. Otherwise, they will bring it, and then the highness, the pythons, and what have you, will swallow it whole.
Finally and briefly, we know the government has tried to stabilize the cedi. There was some intervention, some loans acquired. We saw the cedi stabilize for just about a week and a half, and then we are back on a downward trend again. We are being told by some that we should expect the dollar to cedi to hit 12 cedi for $1 by the end of the year. What is your assessment of government's handling of this situation, briefly?
Yeah, I think that all that I don't want to do is to even speculate, because if I do speculation and say that because the trend is that is getting to Christmas and then we are expecting that the dollar should go up, then I'm fueling speculation. And speculation has been part of the problem that we are facing now. And so I'm not one of them that will say that we are expecting that this thing will go to this level. But then the management of the cedi by Bank of Ghana and government at that have not been helpful because they are not taking the pragmatic efforts to make sure that the leakages, because our problem had not been the supply of the dollar, because if it was the supply, $750 million came and it couldn't sustain us for 3 days. The problem had been the leakages and all that I was talking about. Right. So we should think outside the box and find pragmatic ways to seal out all the loopholes to ensure that we stabilize the city. Otherwise, this thing is going to bring a lot of agitations that is not going to be comfortable for the governance of this country, because legitimately so, people's capital will be dying, and that they wouldn't have any way to address it than to agitate. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time this morning, Dr. Joseph Obing is president of GUTA, and he, together with Mr. Apia Kubi and Mr. Eric Amponsa, have been discussing the issue in Kumasi and the GRA's efforts to gather more revenue for government.